Hey guys, this is Dr. Moss with Moss Family Chiropractic, and we're here to take you on a shopping tour of Kroger so you know where to get the best foods, where to get the grass-fed stuff, what you need to get organic, what don't you need to get organic, and how to save you money. So welcome to Shop with the Doc with Dr. Moss. I'm here at Kroger next door to my office, and the whole purpose of this is to really help you guys know what you need to buy and where you need to get it. So we're going to go through a couple of things. We're going to go through produce here first. We're going to go through the meat section. We're going to go through a couple of the aisles. As you know, most people would know at this point, going through the aisles is not usually the best thing. Shopping the perimeter is always healthier, but we're going to go through some of the most common areas that people have questions about. And I know I have a couple of my assistants here, so if they have any questions that they usually hear at this tour, they're going to ask me those questions so that I can answer those frequently asked ones. All right, so the first thing I'm going to start off talking about is the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. If you've never heard of this before, it's on the EWG website. It comes out every single year. Basically, it means the Dirty Dozen list are the 12 most highly sprayed vegetables and fruits that are sprayed with pesticides. What that means is if they're on that list, you definitely want to buy them organic. But if they're on the Clean 15 side, that means you don't necessarily have to buy them organic. So my rule is I buy them organic if they're on the Dirty Dozen, but if they're on the clean side, but you do find an organic version that's pretty close in price, I'm going to get the organic, but you don't have to, okay? So let's start off with some of the produce, and let's take a look and see what we got. So here at Kroger, they do have an organic section, and I might go ahead and skip down towards that. So as we go down, from here down, you'll see the organic section. So a lot of the stuff that are on the Dirty Dozen list are going to be your herbs and your lettuces. They are definitely sprayed with pesticides, so you definitely want to buy those organic. So you have your romaine, your chard, red leaf, you have your cilantro and green onions, and your collards. Asparagus is one of those things that don't necessarily have to be organic, but if they're close in price, I'm gonna go with the organic. But if they're not close in price, like if these are $4.99 a pound and the regular are $2.99 a pound, because they're on the clean side, I would get the inorganic. So when I make salads, a lot of times I'll buy them pre-packaged, but they don't come with the dressing, because most of the dressings that come with pre-packaged meals are filled with bad fats like soybean and corn oil. So I will get my baby spinach here, I'll get the spring mix and the baby arugula to make my salads in this cooler here. Everything else I'm not usually touching here. When it comes to your fruit and vegetable, your apples are always going to be on the dirty list, so you always want to get your apples to be organic. They have some really good ones here. Your cheapest bang for your, or the biggest bang for your buck is getting them in the bags, usually about $1.99 or $2.49 a pound. I'm not buying any of the pre-made dressings because again, they're made with soybean oil and bad fats. And as we go down here, we get to your organic fresh herbs. That's where I'm going to get my herbs at this top rack here. And you can get your mushrooms. And mushrooms don't need to be organic because they're already in a climate-controlled area in the dark. Let's go through the center section here. And avocados are full of good fats. You do not necessarily need to buy those organic. I'm not going to spend $2.50 for one avocado when they're on the clean list, when you can get these for $1 a pop. So the more avocados you eat, the healthier you're going to be, because again, they are filled with good fats that are good for your brain and your digestive system and your nervous system. Garlic does not have to be organic either, and I believe that's all we're going to be talking about on this side here. So when it comes to fish, you want to make sure your fish is not farm raised. Farm raised, they're feeding those fish things that they should not be eating, which means an unhealthy diet for a fish is going to make unhealthy flesh, which means when you eat it, you're going to become unhealthy as well. So you want to make sure it's always going to be wild caught. So one trick there is, this right here says Atlantic salmon. Salmon don't live in the Atlantic, they live in the Pacific, which means that these are 100% going to be farm raised. So you do not want to buy Atlantic salmon. You always look for Pacific wild caught salmon. So any fish should never be farm raised. Another one that's always farm raised is tilapia. As mild and easy a fish as it is to palate, it is not something you want. Okay? So let's go over to the meat section. All right. So if there was one thing that we could change about people's diets, it's going to be the quality of the protein that they're ingesting. Because you have to think about, what did your food eat before you eat it? So what would you want your chicken to eat? I want it to eat bugs and worms because that's what it's naturally supposed to eat, not corn and feed and grains. So when you're looking for chicken, you always want to buy organic chicken. You'll see Simple Truth has two different ones, and I've gotten caught by this in the front as well. Here it says organic, here it says Simple Truth, but it does not say organic, which means it's still being fed feed, which I don't want. So we want to make sure we're using organic chicken. They have a couple brands here that are organic. And then when we come to red meat, or beef, what are cows supposed to eat? They're supposed to eat grass. From the time they wean to the time they are slaughtered, they should be eating grass. So they have two options here at Kroger. One is the Simple Truth grass-fed, and then you have the White Oak Pasture grass-fed. What's the difference? Well, when you they both say they're grass-fed, but grass-fed doesn't mean 100%. That cow only needs to have 30% of their diet consist of grass for them to be able to label it as grass-fed. So how do you actually know? There's a phone number on the back of these packages, and you can actually call the farms. Now, on the back of this, for the Simple Truth, it doesn't go to a farm, it goes to Kroger corporate, and I've called them already and I've talked to them about it. They are fed 33% grass. So is this 100% grass-fed? No. Is it better than your conventionally raised stuff? Yes. But is it as good as it should be? Absolutely not. This is why I like to use White Oak Pasture. It's actually local, it's here in South Georgia. I called, and you can do the same. You can call the phone number on the package, you can talk to the actual owner of the farm, and they will tell you that it is 100% grass-fed from the time they're weaned until they're slaughtered. So this will be the healthiest option when it comes to red meat in this store. So today is about shopping, and it's not all about being perfect and eating perfect all the time, because you know what? Sometimes you want to make a bad choice, like a hot dog. Not everybody wants a hot dog. But here's the thing, I have kids too, and it's a quick meal when you're at the beach. So my point of telling you that is, if you're going to make a bad choice, we should make the healthiest bad choice. We call those making better bad choices. So what's a better bad choice? If you were to pick a hot dog, yes, they're 100% processed, they're ultra processed, they are not good for you. But what's the best one in this container here? It's going to be an uncured, grass-fed beef hot dog. So what you're looking for is, what meat are they using? Is it pork or is it beef? I want to go beef. Is the beef 100% grass-fed? Is it grass-fed or is it not grass-fed whatsoever? And then are there preservatives like nitrate and nitrites? Nitrates and nitrites you're going to find in hot dogs, you're going to find in bacon, you're going to find in pepperoni. Yes, you can find those without those, and those are the ones I'm targeting because nitrates and nitrites do cause stomach cancer. So we want to make sure we're avoiding that at all costs. So again, the Simple Truth grass-fed beef hot dog here would be the best option out of all these. Is that the best choice ever? No, the best choice ever would be don't eat the hot dog. All right, so let's talk about processed meats. This is deli meat. Is it processed? Yes. Is it the best thing for you and your family in creating health? No. Are you never gonna eat them again? That's not true either. We are gonna eat these here and there. So again, this is one of those better bad choices. We're not gonna get it from Hillshire Farm. What are we looking for? We're looking for organic chicken breast, organic turkey breast, or you got uncured ham. So again, uncured is not gonna have the nitrates and nitrites. They have uncured salami, uncured pepperoni. So although these look like they're prepackaged, it would not be as good as freshly sliced. These are gonna be a better choice because of the lack of the chemicals to preserve. A lot of people say, well, what about boar's head? Boar's head's the best. Not true at all. Boar's head contains nitrates and nitrites in all of them except for the honey or the oven roasted turkey and chicken. So when you're looking for deli meats, this is where I would buy my deli meat. And again, should you do this every single day? Absolutely not. This is a once in a while, if ever thing. All right, so now let's talk about everybody's favorite breakfast food, bacon. So bacon, again, is highly processed, it's smoked, but it also typically will contain nitrates and nitrites. Those are things we talked about cause stomach cancer, so we want to avoid those at all costs. So if we are going to eat bacon, what bacon do we want? Let's take a look here. Greenfield natural meat. What am I looking for? No antibiotics, no hormones. All right, those are things we're looking for here. Again, they have a couple different versions, and then you also have your uncured bacon from Simple Truth. That means uncured means, look, no nitrates or nitrates added. That is what we're looking for. Does this mean it's healthy? No. Does it mean it's healthier than the typical? Yes. So if I was to buy bacon, I would pick from this shelf here or this shelf here. All right, so we know that pork is not the best and healthiest meat to consume. Yes, I love bacon too. But if you're trying to be the healthiest, I would do turkey bacon if you were going to do it at all. Yes, turkey bacon is not the same as bacon, I know that, but if I was going to do turkey bacon, am I going to get the butterball bacon? No. Am I going to get this one? No. Look, again, what we're looking for is uncured. This one says smoked and cured, flavor added. Don't want that. If I was going to pick anything out of here, it would be the smoked turkey bacon from Simple Truth, because it is uncured. Again, is it the same as regular bacon? No. I know that, you know that, but again, if we're gonna make these choices, this would be the choice I would make if I was getting turkey bacon. So now let's talk about salad dressing. I'm sure if you open up the door of your refrigerator, you have a couple of these in there. Well, what you might not realize are how bad the ingredients actually are of your salad dressing. So this is everybody's favorite ranch dressing, Hidden Valley Ranch, right? But the number one ingredient in there is vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is very high in omega-6s. It's a destroyer of health. It'll cause heart issues, cholesterol issues, brain issues, detoxification issues. Overall, this is awful for you. The good news is we do have recipes on our website and in our books that we have for you that you can actually make your own healthy version. So, just so you know, when you open up the door of my refrigerator, I have 0 because I make my own every single time I make a salad. Recipes, you need some ideas, always just ask us. We have the recipes at the office for you. All right, I know we were just talking about dressings. Let's stick with the other condiments that are probably in your refrigerator. One of them being mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is nothing more than oil whipped with egg yolk and vinegar. So I love mayo, but is your typical mayonnaise healthy for you? Let's look up Hellmann's. So here's Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. What's the number one ingredient? Soybean oil. Soybean oil is awful for you. It's high in omega-6s. It's one of those ones I say avoid like the plague. I have nothing in my house with soybean oil. That's how bad it is. So do you think this is in my house? Absolutely not. So what I would recommend you do is get something made with olive oil or avocado oil. So where'd the avocado oil go? No, I was looking for the bad one. No, I just had it in my... All right, so what I would recommend is something that is made with avocado oil or olive oil. Those are way better. Now, this one says Hellmann's, it says avocado oil. Well, when you read the front, you would think that, why would they lie to you, right? It says right there on the front, it's avocado oil. But the truth is not on the front, the truth is always on the back. And when you look at the ingredients, they have water, avocado oil, soybean oil, canola oil. I don't need to go any further to know that I don't want to use this. So I want to use something that actually has straight up avocado oil. That's going to be these guys up here. Primal Kitchen Chosen. This is classic made with 100% pure avocado oil, water, egg yolks that are organic, vinegar, mustard, and rosemary extract. Yes, you're paying more, but you're paying more for your health. And I'd rather invest in my health now than have to pay for it later. All right, let's keep on moving. Mustards and ketchups. Mustards and ketchups have the ketchups have a lot of sugar in it. So if you were to look at ketchup, we have 4 grams of sugar per tablespoon. That's a lot of sugar. You don't realize it. And then how much ketchup you actually put on everything. So you're really just everything in sugar. No, your kids like ketchup, right? So better organic stuff that has less sugar or not using it at all. When it comes to mustard, I don't like the yellow stuff over here. I will typically go with something like this. The Organic Dijon by Simple Truth. This tastes great, no sugar, and fantastic flavor. When it comes to hot sauce, tons of hot sauces. I'm a hot sauce guy. I love spicy stuff. Tabasco has nothing in it. I don't really like the flavor, so that's not where I go. My favorite is going to be Frank's Red Hot. Frank's Red Hot only has a few ingredients: aged cayenne, red peppers, distilled vinegar, water, salt, and garlic powder. Now, I like to eat wings. I make wings at home all the time. I'm using that, adding my own grass-fed butter. But if you were like, listen, Frank's makes good hot sauce, they have a wing sauce, why don't I just use this? When you look at what's in that, they add canola oil to it. So why do you want the canola oil? We do not want it because it's one of those bad fats. So again, straight up Frank's Red Hot, add your own butter, add your own flavoring to it as a base. That's what I would do. Barbecue sauce, you're gonna have to make your own because most of the barbecue sauces are full of corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. They're just really too overly sweet. You don't really want anything there. Let's see, what else? Let's talk about Asian food for a moment. It's one of my favorite things to cook in my house, and I am gluten-free. I recommend everybody be gluten-free, but soy sauce has wheat in it. Most people don't realize that there's wheat in soy sauce. How do I get the soy sauce flavor without the wheat? I'm going to use tamari. Tamari, organic, so they're using organic soybeans to make this. It's still got the same exact flavor as a soy sauce, but there's no wheat, so it is a gluten-free soy sauce. And just so you know, if you ever go out to Asian food and get sushi or Chinese or something like that, you can ask them for some tamari or gluten-free soy sauce. They always have it these days. All right, moving on down. What else we need to talk about here? Not all that much. You know, mac and cheese, we know that that's not really good for you. Is that a good one? So, is it grass-fed though? You get vegan mac and cheese. Let's go ahead and pause. All right, some of the recipes we have in our upcoming makeover are gonna have tuna fish and canned chicken. So when we come over here, we're looking at all the different things. One thing I would never buy is pre-seasoned tuna, because you know that they're not using anything good in there. So what do I do? If I was to buy anything over here when it comes to tuna, I'm gonna look at the better versions. The Wild Planet's probably the best version of this because of how they catch the tuna. It's line caught, it's not by nets, which is better for the environment, better for the tuna population. And these would be the ones I would look at here. And then when we come over here, we're looking at the canned chicken. And this is, again, the Wild Planet. It's already organic, it's roasted, it's free range, it's all the things you would need when it comes to making a chicken salad. Personally, I would just boil my own chicken salad. If you don't have time for that, this is a better option. All right, so when you're making your own soups, which we're gonna be doing a lot of in this makeover, you're gonna start with a stock. And you can either do a chicken broth, a chicken stock, or a beef stock, but again, what are we looking for? We're looking for something that says 100% grass-fed when we're talking about beef broth. And we're looking at chicken broth, we want that to be organic as well. The one thing I do want to make sure that we don't have, and some of these do have that, is something called yeast extract. Yeast extract is very much like MSG. It gives you a zing, which tastes good, but is it good for your brain and nervous system? Absolutely not. So anything that says yeast extract, I try to avoid. You're also going to find that in chips. A lot of your flavored chips, salt and pepper chips, barbecue chips, anything that's flavored typically is going to have that yeast extract, which gets you that zing back here, which makes it extra tangy and good. But it's not good for you. All right, what we're going to talk about now, pasta. So pasta typically is made with wheat. Unfortunately, the wheat here in the United States, it's not good. It's highly sprayed with glyphosate. It's not the same as it was hundreds of years ago, so I try to avoid wheat at all possible. So what I recommend instead would be a gluten-free, and not all gluten-free tastes the same. I've heard a lot of people complain that it's not good. There are a couple brands that I think are really good and hold up to overcooking even. Number one would be, actually the only brand I have now is called Jovial, and this is your Jovial spaghetti, farfalle, penne, fusilli, and the tagliatelle. So these are that's what I have in my house. I like for them to go on sale before I buy them. And when they go on sale, I usually buy all of them. So you better get here before I do. But these actually, your family would have no idea it was not, and that's probably one of the, to make sure you try that out. And then spaghetti sauce, tomatoes should be organic. So if you can find an organic tomato sauce, you'd be better off. Like the Muir Glen, and look at it, it's only $2.99 if you buy 5 or more instead of $4.69. And you're just looking for stuff with. So again, read the ingredients, because the ingredients should be very minimal. It should be tomatoes and onion and garlic and basil, not sugar and potassium phosphate and all this other junk that they put in it. Okay. As you can see, Wonder makes really good confetti cakes. You should have one of those with every meal. I hope you know I'm kidding. And then we come to bread. We're going to skip on the bread for now, okay? Because we should be eating the bread. Even gluten-free bread is really not that great for you. All right, so everybody loves taco night, right? But if we're going to do tacos, we got to do it right and make sure we're getting the healthiest version of the tacos you can. Corn, again, it should be on the organic list. So you only want to get organic yellow corn or blue corn. However, as much as I love Simple Truth, when you look at the back and you look at the ingredients, they're going to be using expeller pressed sunflower seed oil or safflower oil, which are seed oils that we do not want. So what we would rather have is either the grain-free taco shells or corn shells made by Siete, because what are they using? avocado oil. And avocado is the healthy oil. So any of these things, you really just focus right here with the Siete. All right, so when you're making your smoothies for this challenge, you don't want to be using regular cow's milk. We want to use an alternative milk. And the milks I'm looking at using is either going to be an organic coconut milk or the organic almond milk. What's interesting about this brand here, they have unsweetened almond milk, but when you read the ingredients, there's too many ingredients in there. They have all the sunflower lecithin, the guar gum, all the different things that we don't really need. But when you go to the organic version, same brand. I don't even see it now. Where's the organic almond milk? What are the ingredients of this? Water, almonds, and sea salt. So the fewer ingredients are going to be the better version for you. So that's what I would do. I would do the oat milk. Oat milk is from a grain. We're trying to avoid grains during these 30 days. So you want to just stick with the almond milk, the coconut milk, and then there's flaxseed milk that's typically here. And I am not seeing the flax milk right now, but flax milk would be my other option for you. So one question I get a lot is peanut butter versus almond butter. What's better for you? Well, almond butter is going to be better for you. And the reason why peanut butter is not the best thing for you is peanuts are technically a legume, which is a bean, and they are highly sprayed for aflatoxin. So if you don't get the peanut butter that's organic, you're going to have lots of chemicals on it. If you get the one that is organic, it has not been sprayed, you're more apt to get something called aflatoxin, which is not good for you either. Which is why I really try to limit our peanut butter intake at my house. So when any recipe calls for peanut butter, I will always substitute with almond butter. It's not sprayed, it's not the same, it's an actual nut, not a legume and a bean. So you have your raw, yes, there's the stuff at the top, that's just the oil that's separated. It can be a little bit of a pain to mix, but it is better for you. They do make ones that are no mix, but when they do no mix, they usually add some oil to it. Just make sure it's not one of the bad oils that are on our list. What else down here? Honey. Honey is great for you as long as it's raw and it's local. So I try to buy anything that's something from Baldwin or Canton. If it's from any other place, I'm not going to buy it because it's unnecessary. Coffee. Can you drink coffee? Yes, you can drink coffee. How should you drink your coffee? The answer is one way and one way only, and that is black. Because black is the only way you should drink it because it's bitter, and when it's bitter, it actually releases more bile, which is better for your digestive system to break down nutrients so you can get better digestion. As soon as you start adding all the creamers and all the flavor, you've just ruined everything about coffee. Okay, now, what about coffee should it be? It should be organic. Why? Because it is probably the most highly sprayed crop on earth for pests. So make sure when you're drinking coffee, it's organic and it is black. And 1 cup a day, not 1 pot. So one question I get a lot is oatmeal. Oatmeal must be good for you because it's heart healthy and my doctor said I should eat that for breakfast every single morning. The answer is absolutely not, because oatmeal is a grain. Grain converts to sugar. So all you're doing is eating sugar. Even though if you didn't sweeten it, it still converts to sugar, and it can lead to things like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. I'd rather you just not eat breakfast whatsoever. So this is not a breakfast food. This should not be something that is a staple in your breakfast routine. All right, so let's talk about some better bad choices. Now this might not be pertinent to while you're on the 30-day challenge, but when you come off it, you're like, I want a treat. I haven't had chips in 30 days. I want to get some chips. What should I eat? Well, I'm not going to go find you some Ruffles or some Lay's because those are not good for you. Why? It's because of the oil that they're cooking it in. So here's the best news. Siete, this brand, I still love this. Here are your Siete potato chips. They are cooked in avocado oil. So look at the ingredients here: potatoes, avocado oil, and sea salt. So they have sea salt, they have different flavors. Looks like they only have, they have my favorite flavor, which is the sea salt and vinegar. And again, the ingredients here are potatoes, avocado oil, distilled white vinegar powder, sea salt, serrano pepper, and citric acid. If I was to pick up another brand, you're going to see maltodextrin, you're going to see yeast extracts. That's just awful for you. So again, going over Siete brand is definitely the way to go. You also have your tortilla chips. They make not just potato chips, but tortilla chips. Look at these, they say nacho flavor. That sounds a lot like the Dorito nacho flavor, but instead of being filled with chemicals that zing your tongue like MSG, which is 1000% in Doritos, which is why I would not eat them, these taste very similar, but look at the ingredients. Cassava flour, avocado oil, tapioca starch, nacho seasoning, which is made from nutritional yeast, which gives it that cheesy flavor, tomato powder, sea salt, garlic powder, jalapeno powder, onion powder, serrano pepper, coconut flour, and chia seeds. Are these good for you? The answer is yes, they are. All right, what about crackers? Triscuits are made of wheat, no good. What else do we look at? Nut thins, those are made with rice, better, not the best. These are probably some of my better versions. Almond flour. The only unfortunate thing is they are still using organic sunflower oil, which is a seed oil, so I want to minimize how often I eat these. There's another one that's like a rice cracker. So again, you just have to kind of look through and see what crackers don't use bad oils and don't have any of the preservatives and seasonings. So you just got to be careful with that. I like to get plain stuff and put some goat cheese on it, and that's the way I eat my crackers. All right, let's talk about everybody's favorite food, which is chocolate. So are there better versions of chocolate that you can get if you're going to make that choice? The answer is 100%. If you're trying to stay with the diet, which is no sugar, you're going to look at Lily's chocolate down here. They sweeten it only with stevia. You just have to read through the ingredient label, make sure there's nothing bad in there, because some of them might have a little bit too much flavor and different choices when it comes to the flavoring. Then you have Hu, which is organic chocolate. It's dark. This is a better version. And then you have our better versions of some of the most common candies, which is like your peanut butter cup. This is actually made with peanut butter, not peanut cream flavored stuff. And then you have your skinny dipped, again, dark chocolate peanut butter cups. And because of this is actually only 2 grams of sugar. So these are good, but Lily's also makes a peanut butter cup. So notice I haven't talked about Reese's, Mars bars, any of those things, because those companies do not care about your health. These companies are at least making better versions of the choices that you're making. So one of the best fats that you can use when you're cooking is going to be butter, but butter comes from cream comes from a cow, and if it comes from a cow, it needs to be from a grass-fed cow. So our best options in this cooler are going to be Kerrygold and Vital Farms, and at least Vital Farms is telling you the truth. It's 90% grass-fed. It's hard to find 100% grass-fed unless you go to a farmer's market. I will tell you, I would not buy this here though. I would rather buy that at Costco for half the price. But if you look at things like Land O'Lakes, I'm not touching this stuff. And then you have things like olive oil, sea salt spread, Smart Balance. People think Smart Balance is smart to use. It is not, because all it is bad fats whipped up. Vegetable oil, canola oil, palm oil. Yeah, there's some olive oil. It's barely in there. So I would never recommend any of my patients touch that stuff with a 10-foot pole. All right, while we're talking about fats, let's talk about oils. So avocado spray. This is 100% avocado oil. This is the spray I'm using for my grill. This is what I'm putting on some of my meat before I throw it on the skillet. You don't want to ever use a canola spray. PAM is just absolutely awful for you, your house, and the environment. And then what oils should we be using? We should be using avocado oil, coconut oil, and olive oil. So when it comes to olive oil, here are some things I like to look for. I like to look for in a glass container versus plastic, because it's an oil. It can eat at that plastic, and you don't want that plastic getting in your body. The other thing is, I'm gonna look, where's it from? And for here, let's see, it is actually not even telling us where it comes from. To me, that would be a big no-no. I want to find it coming from one place and one place only. So here, country of origin, and you can see there's a whole bunch of countries printed below. So this comes from Argentina and Chile and Greece and Italy. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a company that only sources it from one place. So I have a feeling again, look at all the different places it comes from. Or you can do something like this where it says single origin, organic. This would probably be the best one here, because it's in glass, it's extra virgin, and it's organic, and it comes from one origin. Yes, you're going to pay more. All right, so olive oil is good for us, but we don't want to heat that up over medium heat. So I usually use that for low heat cooking or no heat cooking, and use it for dressings. Avocado oil is the one I'm going to use for higher heat, because it is neutral. It stays good at high heat. So avocado oil here, Grapeseed used to be good until we found out how high it is in omega-6s, and high in omega-6s actually promotes inflammation in our bodies, so we do not want to use grapeseed oil, although it is stable. Vegetable oil, no good. Coconut oil. So I don't want refined, I want unrefined and virgin coconut oil. So this is going to be the best one out of the group here. And I'm going to use that on medium or low heat. I'll use this for baking because it does add a little bit of a coconutty flavor. And then you have ghee. Ghee is butter that's been clarified, and you want that to be grass-fed and pasture-raised. So again, this says this is grass-fed, but this is 100% grass-fed. So I'm using this brand right here. And that tastes really good. It's like a butter oil, very, very flavorful. And then when it comes to baking, we don't want to use your typical wheat flour. We're looking for things like arrowroot powder, which is this one right here. You can use tapioca. I like to use, I'm not even seeing it right now, flour. And coconut flour is also a really good one to use. So if I'm making like chicken cutlets, you can dredge it in coconut flour and then put it in some olive oil. That's a great way to do it. And Simple Mills is a pretty good brand when it comes to pre-made mixes. So if you have a birthday coming up, you want a birthday cake, chocolate, vanilla, these are the brands I'm typically going towards. And then when it comes to making things sweet, yes, you could use sugar, but we're trying to minimize sugar. So what would I use instead of sugar? We could use monk fruit sweetener, and then we have things like stevia. But I'm going to tell you right now, stevia doesn't come in a bag this big. All right, this is filled with other things like maltodextrin and stevia extract, which is absolutely awful for you. So I do not want you buying something this big. When it comes to stevia, look for things like stevia in the raw, something small, because stevia itself is extremely sweet. So this bag here would last the United States probably a year to sweeten up all their desserts. Going back over here, there's some fun things that you can put into smoothies to help give you more good fats and more protein, those being chia seeds. You can also make your own pudding out of that, and then flax meal and hemp hearts. These are all, if you throw a tablespoon of each of these into your smoothie, you're getting more omega-3s. The healthy omega-6 is some omega-9s and some good sources of protein. All right, so I know eggs are a staple for people's breakfast. Even though we're going to talk about this at the makeover, you don't need to eat breakfast. But if you're going to eat an egg, what's eggs I can find? Because again, if I'm eating something from an animal, I want that animal to be healthy. So what are we going to look for? I'm looking for pasture-raised, and I'm looking for really pasture-raised and organic. So these are going to be the best eggs you can find here. But honestly, my favorite eggs to buy are the ones that my patients bring me, because I know they've been pasture-raised, I know they're organic, I know the farmer, which makes me feel a lot better about trusting those eggs. But if you don't have that luxury, coming to Kroger, Vital Farms is a good one. Again, Happy Egg is going to be a good one. Again, organic and free range. That's what you're looking for when it comes to eggs. Let's scoot on down here. Juice. Everybody thinks juice is good for you because somebody told you that one time. Not true. So here you go, 8 ounces of orange juice, 22 grams of sugar. You want diabetes? Have that every morning. Okay, so skip the juice. All this is just sugar water. We do not need any of this. What about yogurt? Somebody told us yogurt should be for breakfast and it's good for you. That's absolutely not true either. Yes, you can get protein from it, but is it dairy? Yes, dairy comes from where? A cow. Cows should be eating what? Grass. Is your yogurt grass-fed? I tell you, probably not. And if it is grass-fed, how much sugar is in it? Probably too much. So look at all the yogurt we just looked at. I haven't found grass-fed yogurt yet. I'm all the way at the end, and I still haven't found grass-fed yogurt. I will tell you, it's very difficult to find grass-fed yogurt at a Kroger. Whole Foods, yes, you can find it there, but I'll typically buy sheep or lamb milk, or not lamb, goat milk yogurt. Those are better for our digestive systems than your cow. And again, you get it plain and add some organic blueberries to it, that's the way to go if you need it at all. Honestly, yogurt's not the best thing for you, but there are some alternatives. You have So Delicious, which is coconut milk yogurt. Siggy's is grass-fed, but again, there's gonna be a lot of sugar in this. And then you do have some almond milk and coconut milk. So if you're like, I need my yogurt, these would be the ones I would look for, and I would probably skip all the other ones. Those are just desserts for breakfast. While we're talking about dairy, let's talk about cheese for a second. So again, cheese is dairy from a cow, should be grass-fed. are we going to find grass-fed milk here and grass-fed cheese here? The answer is yes and no. Most of this is a no. However, we do have a couple better versions if we're going to get any cheese over here. One would be, let's make sure it's at least organic. That's better than your typical cheese, but pasture raised, which means there's going to be, they will have eaten a lot more grass than your typical. Is this 100% grass-fed? I've called the company. The answer is no. But is it the better choice? 100%. So if you're making something with mozzarella, there you go. There's your taco night cheese right here. 3 cheese Mexican. It's not 100% grass-fed, but it's darn close. So that's what I would get if I was getting cheese. A big part of this challenge is making a lot of smoothies as a substitute for your meal. One of the best things you can do for your smoothies when you put it in a blender is to, instead of using ice, why don't you use some frozen organic berries? We got organic strawberries here. That's going to be low on the glycemic index, which is a good thing. We're going to skip the mango, we're going to skip the pineapple, we're going to skip the cherries because those are higher in sugar. So really what I'm looking for you guys here, I would be doing the strawberries or the blueberries. And mix it up. Blueberries and chocolate taste great. Raspberries and vanilla taste great. Raspberry and chocolate taste great. So you can mix all these things up, but use that, substitute these instead of ice, and you're going to get a better flavor. All right, I know I've been talking about taco night a lot. I must be hungry for tacos, but I just wanted to share with you this right here. These are the soft tacos I buy for my family. Again, the brand, Siete. We've seen a trend here. They are almond flour. You put them on a skillet for 10 seconds each side. They come up nice and soft. They are delicious. They don't break. They're nice and spongy, so they actually, like I said, they don't break. They are phenomenal for soft tacos. And then we're going to talk about vegetables. So when we talk about what's the best type of vegetable, it's going to be an organic, fresh vegetable that's ripe off the vine, meaning you got that at a farmer's market or in your backyard. What would you think would be the second best? Would it be fresh over there in the produce, or do you think it'd be frozen? The answer is actually frozen, because we can get it and pick it ripe at its peak ripeness right off the vine and flash freeze it and then get it to you here, versus it being on a truck for a week or two before it actually comes to the store. So if I can't find it fresh at a farmer's market, I might actually consider getting organic vegetables here that are frozen. So in my freezer at my house, I actually do this at Costco. I'll buy, huge bags of frozen broccoli, and what's the other one we have called? Green beans. So you just throw a little bit of those, you steam them real quick, it takes about a minute or two, and now you have your fresh, frozen, organic vegetables. So if you're looking for a bubbly drink during these 30 days, and you know you shouldn't be drinking soda, what should you drink instead? Well, you could get seltzer water and add a little bit of lemon lime to it. That's great. For that quick on the go, I'm going with something called Spindrift. Spindrift is nothing more than fruit juice that's been freshly squeezed and carbonated water. You get the lime, you got, what was that, raspberry lime, you have a mojito flavor. You have a bunch of different flavors here. The lemon's really good. Some of the citrus ones are going to be very light flavor. These ones are going to be a little bit heavier on the flavor, but this is what I have in my fridge. So if we ever want something fun to drink, this is what we go to. All right, guys, well, that concludes our Shop with the Doc here. If you have any specific questions that I did not get to answer, feel free to email us or text us or ask us at your next visit, but we'd be glad to do it anytime for you. So I want to make sure that you know where to get the things and when you need to get them.